Special guest on the BWI Daily Edition. Today, I'm your host, Frank Carr. This is Lamont Payne. He is a three-star corner for the class of 2023, committed to Penn State. I'm excited to have him on the show, get to know him a little bit better, and have you, Penn State fans, get to know him a little bit better as well. So, Lamont, thanks for making time today, and welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So what are you up to this time of year? Basketball, winter lifting, track? What do you get up to in the off season?
I'm not that good at basketball, so we're doing track right now, team lifts, and then 7-on-7 started up, and we recently had our first tournament. So
well, I know it's going to be shocking. I'm very good at basketball. I'm not good at
really.
Basketball. No, not at all. I was the try guy. I was the effort dude who tried real hard. That's all.
Gotcha.
So then what are you working on in this offseason? What are you up to in terms of improvements you want to make in your game? You seem pretty locked into football. So what are you doing there?
I'm just trying to overall get better, my game, the way I present myself in the field, IQ, stuff like that. But mainly I wanted to attack this offseason, get my body right. Been putting on some muscle, been putting on some more pounds, and just been hitting the weight room heavy.
So what are you up to now?
Right now we're just lifting. We're getting better, field drills, 7-on-7.
Yeah.
Speed and agility training.
So I meant what weight? What are you up to now? I phrased that very poorly.
It's fine. I'm at recently I was at 176. Now I'm at 183. I'm trying to get to a solid 185 pure muscle, 190. So,
and that's a big part of your game, right? Watching your film and seeing your stuff in T. Frank's film room, very physical, the line of scrimmage. So is that something especially for you as a corner that you're focusing on when it comes to the weight and the added strength?
Yeah. When I started training at DB, I was told I have really good long arms, good length, and use it to my advantage. So that's something I've been working on, trying to perfect my craft in.
You've probably been asked this a bunch of times by a bunch of different people, but why Penn State? What was it about the university, the coaching staff? What was it about that experience that made you want to commit so early?
Well, I mean, why not Penn State? They recently just had their thon and raised, I think it was $13.7 million, which is, amazing. It's definitely outstanding. And it's just it's a real close family up there. Everything's close-knit group. They show love, hospitality. And you could tell that they truly care about you and the type of player you are, and not just a type of team and type of school that just says they want you just for you. They care about your values, things like that. Coach Franklin's an amazing coach. Coach Terry, all those guys, I established a great bond with them, and I just fell in love with the school.
Is there something that sticks out in your mind as far as, because I think a lot of people say that in recruiting, and I'm sure you have firsthand experience of, everyone probably preaches culture and family and all those things, but for Penn State, it really stands out. Is there something in your mind where you think back to, they really back up what they're saying when they talk about those things?
They definitely talk about how they like to keep, their communication is very key, and they prove that to me throughout my recruiting. They call me at least twice a week, making sure I was okay, just even checking up on the family. It was more beyond me. I have a sister who has autism, so they got her involved. They asked about her, all my different types of siblings. So they show that they truly care, which has meant a lot to me.
That's pretty cool. Now, to you in social media, you committed early to this class, and you wanted to be a leader. So you made some noise last week saying you're back on Twitter. You're going to be making a little bit more noise. Who are you talking to? Whose ear are you in right now?
Right now, we have Tony Rojas. He's from Virginia, linebacker. Of course, my PA guy, Rodney Gallagher, Tammit Robinson. I just got a tweet that someone's going to be up there at Penn State on the 23rd. So we're on everybody.
What's that relationship like with guys that, I remember from high school, I knew my friends in high school. I had my group of people that I hung out with. But with the experiences you have and meeting these guys that are like-minded, skilled, what is that like for you as just, an athlete and as a high school student to kind of broaden your view or meet guys from different parts of the world and have that sort of thing in common?
The main thing about this is just communicate. You can't be shy to reach out to other guys. That's one of the major things. You can't stay local because at the end of the day, you're all trying to get better. You're trying to build the best team to win the national championship. So, I met Tony. I reached out to Tony before, and me and him ended up meeting on one of the official visits. So I met up with him and started talking with him. And then a lot of Virginia guys I know, Alex Birchmeyer, Matthias, Joshua Mill, all those guys. So they helped me network to some other Virginia guys. And of course, my PA guys, I'm just close with them. Some kids from Philadelphia. So
Yeah, and there's a strong contingent from the Pittsburgh area, Chartiers Valley, where you go to school. That area is pretty strong in the class of 2023. What do you think about the class so far? Put together a strong class. It's in On3's top 5, I think, at this point. So what do you see in the class as far as the strengths and where you're working to help the staff and to recruit?
Well, right now, I got to give credit to my old lineman guys, Josh, Alex, Matthias, all of them. They did a really good job at getting, our offensive linemen, things like that. And now, as one of the leaders in the class, it's my turn to get the defensive guys, the more skill positions. So they definitely helped a lot. We have a group chat. We talk every day. Like, we were constantly talking, constantly communicating about who we want, what we need to get, and how it will help benefit Coach Franklin and the whole team in general.
So you mentioned IQ getting better when it comes to the off-field stuff, strength training. Who do you watch if you do college corners or pro corners? And if you do, who do you like to watch to kind of pick things up from?
In college, I enjoyed watching J.C. Horn, Sauce Gardner, those guys. As an NFL, I really enjoy watching Jalen Ramsey, Stephon Gilmore, Jair Alexander. They all have different, strengths and weaknesses that they're all different good at. So it's really cool to watch a breakdown, like the way they break down film. Obviously, I watch Deion Sanders just by the mentality he goes into play with. So there's a little bit of everybody. I don't really play no favorites because at the end of the day, they're all the best at their position. So I try to use a little bit of everything, add to my game.
One thing I can't help but notice, but a lot of the guys that you mentioned, press corners, physical bullies at the line of scrimmage, something I've seen in your game on film. How much do you focus on that, either in practice or during a game, that you want to either affect a route or intimidate a receiver?
Oh, well, obviously it starts in practice. Everything starts in practice. Like I said earlier, my coaches told me about my length and like the way I could use my arms. So the main thing they told me is stay patient. Like obviously this physicalness and stuff like that didn't come easy. There was times where I got beat deep, got routed, so many things. So it kind of just came with it. Came with time and practice, so that's where I kind of learned it from.
How complex is your defense? Because I see you specifically doing a lot of stuff pre-snap. You're in press, you're in bail, you're in man, you're in zone. How complex do you think your defense is at the high school level, and how has that helped you, do you think, prepare for the next level?
I don't think it's too complex. I mean, if you're studying the playbook and, you actually care about trying to get on the field and play, it's not that hard. But one thing my coach always told me is, mess with the quarterbacks. At the end of the day, that the quarterback's gonna be looking at you. So when we're in cover 2, I help them press and bail early. I'm tall, so I'm kind of lengthy, so I have time to get out and bail. So I kind of just like to play around with it.
And then when it comes to that sort of ability to mess with the quarterback, you got your hands on the ball quite a bit the last 2 years. What is it about your game that helps you get to the catch point, I think, more than some other guys at your level who may be physically talented but are not making as many plays on the ball? What is it about what you do that baits quarterbacks into it, or that you do to get there?
Definitely try to bait the quarterback. Obviously there's some times where you get caught, baiting the quarterback and it goes bad. But the main thing is it all comes to confidence. You have to have you have to be confident in what you're about to do. You can't second guess it. That's where you're going to mess up. Ball skills is like one of the main things you got to work on, even if you're a DB, no matter what position, because you never know the ball is going to come to you. So it kind of just came in baiting the quarterback and just hoping he makes the throw, and then when he does, just capitalize off of it.
How hard is that, though? You talk about confidence, you talk about all of those things. How hard is it at that point to make that play?
I mean, it kind of goes back into the film room. You got to be paying attention. Like, you have a week, game day is Friday, you have a week to prepare. You get film, Monday, Tuesday. So it's all about how you prep for the game, the tendencies of the quarterback, the way that the quarterback's playing, and just at the end of the day, you want to have fun. You don't want to be too hard on yourself. You just want to go out and play and just, do what you got to do.
You're also a slot receiver. You're a receiver, I should say, on offense, and you line up in the slot sometimes. Does that help you in your game to see the ball, the game from both sides of the ball, and from multiple positions on the other side?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Playing receiver definitely taught me better footwork, and it also gave me an understanding of how the quarterback works, how he thinks, and how also you should think as a defensive player. So when I'm on defense, I kind of know what the receivers think, kind of what the quarterback's thinking when it comes to certain plays and indicators, because I've obviously played the offensive side of the ball, so it definitely plays in my advantage.
Lamont Payne, Chartiers Valley, 3-star corner for the class of 2023, with us here on the BWI Daily Edition, going through off-field stuff, a lot of his game. And if you want to check out T. Frank's film room, we broke down his game when he committed to the Nittany Lions last fall. Where do you think you've taken the biggest stride then from some of the things we saw from you last year to this year? I know you mentioned the physicality and the IQ stuff. Where would you say that your game has grown the most on the things you've worked on?
Definitely, I would say my patience, my confidence. Last year, my first year starting on varsity. So, I was around a bunch of older guys. I was like one of the only sophomores to be playing on the varsity level. So through that off season, I was training hard. I didn't have no offers, no scholarships. And I just had that dog mentality to go in and, get what I want. So when junior season came, my coach just stressed me, you're going to have a target on your back. You're going to have to go out and play because of who you are. And that was the chip I kind of had on my shoulder at every game and just went out and played. Have
you run a 40 recently? You have an updated time for us?
Last time I ran a 40 was at the pit camp, and it was a 4.53, and that was on a hurt hip, and then that's all I ran.
That's pretty good. That actually leads me into the next thing I wanted to talk to you about was you clearly played through an injury, and then it came out later that you were kind of working through something, especially at the beginning of last season. What did you learn about yourself through that process of having to play that way?
My ankle I rolled in practice. It was a rainy practice one day. I rolled it. It was nothing major, but as me as a player I'm not going to give up on my team. At the end of the day, my team's going to need me, so I played through it, rehabbed it, did stim, stuff like that. And it just taught me you can't just give up on your team like that. If you keep going, you can keep playing, just keep playing. But you also need to know when to stop. There was times where I didn't practice because I didn't want to hurt anymore. So it just came to knowing yourself and the competitor that I am. You kind of just got even though it sucks to miss practice and kind of let your team down, you got to do what's best for you and your team.
What does toughness mean to you on the football field? And I ask this because, from my view, you're tough if you play football. It's a prerequisite to get on the field. But then playing through injury and a bunch of other things, as a football player, what does toughness mean to you?
Toughness it means everything. And when it comes to football, you got to be tough in the weight room. You got to want to be able to lift out guys. You want to be a competitor all around. Tough is getting up in the morning, 5:30, 6:30 in the morning to go practice 2-a-days, repeatedly, especially on those Wednesdays. It's hump day, you're tired. You don't want to get up, but you got to go out and do it. On the football field, tough is, not backing down from anybody, not being scared to go against anybody, no matter the size, no matter the weight, and just, having confidence in yourself and knowing that you're better than anyone.
So just quickly here, we're going to get you out of here on one or two more things. If you're given a sales pitch to an uncommitted Penn State prospect, tell me what you're telling them. Give me maybe not all the sauce, not all the details, but what are you telling people about that you want them to know why they should go to Penn State?
Why you should go to Penn State? If you want a good education, you want a good, football career, definitely Penn State. Their alumni is one of the biggest in the world. Third biggest stadium in the world. Doesn't really get much better than that. If you've ever been to the Whiteout, that's all you really need to see at that point. 107,000 fans screaming your name. That's just if you're as a fan. Imagine you're on the field. The hospitality they showed you, the diversity they show you. It's just an overall great experience. Great to be up there. It was named the #1 college football town in America. That's all you can really say about it. There's nothing really. It's kind of one of those things that you have to have in your heart, So.
So we'll get you out of here on this. I know it's on the screen, but give people your social handles so they can follow you on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you want people to know where Lamont Payne is.
TikTok, Lamont Payne 18, Twitter, Lamont Payne 18, and then my Instagram is OTW2Mont.
Quickly though, I got to ask you, is there meaning to your numbers? Because I know you wore 2 last year, so the number thing, I'm always curious about athletes because some guys have real attachment to a number, and some of them are it's the number they gave me, I didn't really care. What does it mean to you if it means anything?
18 was my number when I was a sophomore, and then so that's when I created my Twitter, my TikTok, and stuff like that. And then most recently, junior year, I got a chance to change my number, and I wanted a single digit number. I thought that was cooler, so I went with 2, and then that's kind of where I've been sticking with 2.
All right. That's a good answer. I like that the progression of those things, because for fans and for people that watch, like it's a big indicator of who you are on the field, and knowing what's behind it, I just think is cool sometimes. So Lamont, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me.
That'll do it today for the BWI Daily Edition. Make sure, again, you follow him. You see their Twitter at Lamont Payne 18. If you want to make sure you follow Lamont on Twitter, see who he's recruiting, see what's up with Penn State in the class of 2023 on Twitter. Subscribe to the Blue White Illustrated YouTube channel, and, of course, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm your host, Frank Carr. Talk to you then.